What's going on, guys? I'm gonna be doing the first trade recap of the year. Spent a bit of time in Florida and then at my family's house, and so I wasn't on the setup, but now I'm back on the setup. So I'm gonna go over a couple of trades. Hope you guys had a good New Year's, and let's hop into it. So we had a couple trades this week that I took, and the first one and the best one here was NVDA, right? So looking at NVDA, everybody knows about this weekly, daily, monthly consolidation, right? We've basically been consolidating for 6 months, basically since like June or July in this range. And so I was looking for some type of clear confirmation above this like 505 area. And that's what we got. We got that move above 505 and we took spreads in here. My target for NVIDIA was somewhere around 545. And that sounds ambitious, but you have to understand that when looking at, well, let's look at the weekly. Well, we're looking at the weekly, all this consolidation, right? Unless it's a complete fake out, right? We're not going to just like go to like 515, 510 and just stop, right? This is going to get some legs. Similarly to how AVGO had this type of move where we, consolidated from, let's call it June all the way to like November and it broke out end of year, right? We basically ran from the break here of 920 all the way up to 1,000. So we had almost a 10% run, right? And so now looking at NVIDIA, in just 2 days, let's go back to NVIDIA. Looking at NVIDIA here, we basically had like almost a 10% run. So it kind of makes sense, and that was my target there. So looking at the 5-minute chart, we took entry yesterday on NVIDIA, and we took entry somewhere in this range here, around like 510, I believe. We took the 530, 540 spreads for $115 a piece, give or take. And so my target in there, first target was 530, then it was 545, 550 area. So I basically wanted to do that as the parameters for the spread. And so looking at the chart, right, it pretty much went straight up yesterday riding the 8 EMA. And then I figured today we'd have some type of morning shakeout. And I honestly thought we could actually dip a little bit lower. Looking at the hourly chart, I thought that at first we could potentially dip down to the 20 EMA, but that ended up not happening. We basically just rode the hourly 8 EMA up until the end of the day when we got a little bit of selling pressure back down to the 8 and we tested it here. I still have one contract on. I would be willing to add if we get some type of pause bar tomorrow, some type of inside bar. I would be willing to add back to my position for that 550 target, but we shall see. The next trade we took was in GS, and so I took this because I really like the daily structure. Looking at this, we had a nice inside bar closing almost at the top, not even upper third. Like we almost closed the top of this bar here. And, we had a weird gap down today, and so that kind of threw off my plan. And so I said to myself, all right, I'm going to give myself one average down with a stop loss underneath 382. And so I actually averaged down right here at this 382.5 area. We ended up running, and I basically sold my position for break even. I think my cost was about 2.9, and I was out around 2.8 or so. So just about break even trade for me. Anything under like 4 or 5%, I consider break even. So I took the position off at full break even here, and it ended up being the right move as we kind of faded, and this was the high of day for today. And I did say that we could obviously rally and continue to go, and the trade could work after the double down. But for me, I'd rather just kind of get out of the way and then kind of reevaluate when need be. And still looking at this daily chart, we're having a lot of consolidation here. So as soon as we break this 389.3 level, I'll be sure to enter and ride this up to 395.403. So kind of no damage there. Looking at the hourly, we did reject right when the EMA is flipped, and that's kind of why we rejected there. Last trade was in spot, so we took some spot yesterday after the hour close above this 196 level here. We did take some profit as we ran up towards the 197.7s, almost towards 198. So good for about 15% or so. And I ended up holding the rest of the position, even though we were up 15%. And then we did have this quick morning spike over yesterday's highs that failed rather quickly and hard here, right? So as you see, just in about 10-15 minutes or so, we went from new high breaking yesterday's high to approaching yesterday's low with about a 2% sell-off. And we basically just went range bound the rest of the day before giving it up late in the day down to this 192.44 level. Looking at the daily, my stop loss is a daily close under the 8 EMA. We hit the daily 8 EMA, we hit the level, and we bounced. So realistically, tomorrow I need to see some type of conviction. I need to see a daily close, ideally above 196 to continue to hold this. We do have next week contracts, so we do have plenty of time to get up to this 205 target. But we kind of now or racing the clock a little bit. So we do need some confirmation tomorrow. Ideally, an inside bar that closes the upper third, or if we hit the targets up towards 199, 199.5, like so be it. But definitely not ideal. A weird move today in general with the markets gapping down so much. We ended up recovering a good amount. I think this was just one of those things where it was a good setup that just failed. Similar to that Google trade, where if you look at that Google trade, it actually ended up working. It just had to shake out some longs, and I'm gonna actually make a full video this weekend talking about making money in an uptrend. Because if you want to zoom out, right, from basically 2020 lows up to the end of 2021, it's like if we went straight up, how'd you lose money on longs? You just buy and hold. But there's a lot of ways you can. There's a lot of shakeouts. So we're trying to be able to hold through the shakeouts while still being responsible with the trades. But Google's a good testament to where you just had the right idea, wrong timing, because this ended up working. So I want to give the spot a little bit of wiggle room to work, but if I need to cut it, we will cut it. But with that being said, good week so far. Monster winner here in NVDA. Was able to get, I think my top trim so far was 450%, holding one for glory to see if we can get that max profit from $115 to $1,000 a spread. So we shall see, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.